All right, welcome to week 15 out of 52 of 2026 weekly goal review. Let's get right into it. So, spiritually, give myself 7 out of 10, self goals 7 out of 10, health 6 out of 10, wealth 4 out of 10, time off 6.5 out of 10. Honestly, a really decent week last week. Last week was my break week. Week before that, really rough week, and so I decided to take this last week and use it more for recovery instead of production. Really needed, really necessary. It was a good step back. By the end of the week, mentally, I was a lot better. Going into the week, I felt like this mental fatigue and tiredness, like I needed sleep. But over the weekend, it didn't matter how much sleep I got, I still felt that. So I knew I was more burnt out than just sleepy or tired. So overall, pretty good week. Spiritually, one thing I feel like I got from God last week was he gave me almost I forgot exactly what I was thinking, but I got a almost certainty. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but when I heard this, when he said this, I just knew it was true. And so that's why I'm pretty certain that it was God. And it was just, I'm really limited in the way that I live. And that comes from the negative belief of the possibility of what could go wrong instead of looking at everything that could happen when things go right. And so he proceeded to show me an image of a chicken being hatched out of an egg. And it's like, once you start seeing what that limitation looks like, it'll be easier to keep breaking and chipping away at that shell. And then you'll break free from it. You will no longer be bound to that. But until you get there, you won't see what that is. And again, it's like, I've done it before with other things, but this time is just different because of the dynamic of how long I've been in it. So that was kind of cool. Last week, I don't remember reading the Bible as much as I wanted to. I didn't put that in my goals. Yeah, I didn't put that in my spiritual goal, but I didn't read my Bible as much as I wanted to. I was trying to go for every night, and then it just didn't end up happening. It is something that I want to do. I actually haven't done it this week either, so I gotta pick that up. Self goals. I did get a podcast episode in. I didn't vlog over the weekend, but I did get a podcast episode in. I decided to start taking my mic with me everywhere I go, hook it up to my phone. At work, it actually works really well because sometimes not that I'm not doing anything, but I'm actually in autopilot mode sometimes where it's just like I'm running the machine, but I'm thinking about so many other things. My mind is coming up with ideas, is coming to conclusions, and I mean, thinking about things that honestly sometimes I want to talk about. And so those rabbit holes that sometimes my mind is going into, I'd like to record and make episodes out of, because sometimes it's just like a fountain of knowledge just kind of flowing. And so I want to stop and record those moments because I feel like they'd be really good to pass those things on instead of just letting them waste in thoughts or not letting them be anything but just a thought. And so, yeah, I decided this week I was going to start carrying my mic that goes to the iPhone with me almost everywhere. Health, I did make it to the gym last week, 2 days out of the week. Not the best, but again, I was recovered. I felt recovered by the end of the week. This weekend, I feel like I pushed a little hard. I do feel a little bit tired, a little bit burnt, but I think I could push and make the gym work. Once I'm up and going, I'm okay. So I'm going to try and push for the 3 days again this week. Wealth. My wealth, I gave myself a low rating because I did make an expense that maybe wasn't needed, but I also don't really feel like it was a bad expense. I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like I don't know how to explain it. I just don't feel like it was a bad expense. Probably not the best one to make right now, but it was not a bad expense. And then other than that, spending was normal. Time off, I definitely did enjoy the weekend. I definitely just took a step back from everything, like I said, and I still edited and did all the things that I needed to, but when it came to, I think, more trading, trading it does put a lot of pressure and stress on me. And so what I did last week was I just looked at charts, didn't trade. I took one trade on the eval and that was it. But for the most part, it was just a major step back. Next week's goals. So spiritually, what I'm going to be working on is I'm going to try and keep reading the Bible. So I'm going to put that in because I actually didn't write that. Yeah, so I want to keep reading the Bible at night. I want to keep reading at least 2 chapters at night. And so I'm going to try and keep up with that. Other than that, it just feels like I'm just in a walk right now. Like I'm just walking with God through life, and I'm trying to almost use those lessons that I've learned to keep pushing forward instead of trying to keep learning again, I'm in a season of momentum, not in a season of learning. And so it's steady growth instead of trying to look for direction or trying to pivot or learn. It's a different type of growth. It is growth that comes from action, not growth that comes from learning and lesson building. Self goals, keep up with my typical content goals once a day, just one piece of content a day. Anything extra that I can do that. I want to keep that relationship with trading healthy, which is that take a step back and learn how to take that step back. One thing that I haven't been doing is cutting the charts off at 10:30. I did that. I've been doing that this week. I'll check the charts later in the day just to see what's been going on. But again, I've done enough back testing to understand that after 10:30, nothing really happens. So I don't need to watch the chart after that. So that's what I'm going to try and push for again. Sometimes, again, there's those odd days that it does work out, but for the most part, it's just, okay, 10:30 comes around. Okay, just check it once an hour just to see how the rest of the market is looking and if there's anything setting up for me. But more than likely, yeah, 10:30 is it. From 7:30 to 10:30, 3 hours. I mean, should be enough. So I'm going to try and follow that again. And then, like I said, I'm carrying the mic with me. So I'm going to try and get more podcasts in because I hate that I kind of fell behind by almost 2 weeks on podcasts. And so I do want to get those out. I think I need one for this week because I uploaded for last week. So now I need one for this week. Health goal, just trying to make it to the gym early. I wrote earlier this week, but tomorrow's already Wednesday. And so I should have gone today. I don't know. Like I said, I think I pushed a little bit too hard over the weekend. Now I got to recover. Wealth goals, no different. Just manage spending. Stop making those major expenses over the week that I know they're going to accumulate and they're going to suck to have to pay back. But I got to make sure that I'm making the most of what I have. Time off goals for this week is really just give it this last week to try and recover as much as possible. I feel fine, but I feel like I'm still in a stage where it's like fragile. I feel like if I push a little bit too hard, I'll hurt the recovery stage and not fully recover, and the pain will be longer, if that makes sense. It's almost like when you're sore, but you go to the gym, even with the sore muscle, it won't recover as fast. You're not letting that muscle build. And so it's almost the same with like the recovery, I think, where I'm in a fragile stage where if I push a little hard, the recovery process will take a little bit longer. So I'm trying not to push too hard, but also trying to make the most that I can. 3 non-negotiables is this week. I just felt like I need to listen to the Holy Spirit this week. And even though I'm walking, and even though that I feel like I don't have these major pivots right now, I could always be wrong. The Holy Spirit might want to change something. And so I want to listen for that. Number 2, like I said, 10:30 is my cutoff for trading. I can check the charts, but for the most part, I got to keep that consistency of 10:30. And then third one, read the Bible daily. That's what I'm shooting for. Thanks for watching this week's weekly review. If you guys are new, you can hit the link in the description. It'll bring you to this Google Drive. You guys can create your own weekly, yearly reviews along with an annual review to help you prepare at the end of every year for the year to come. Your pages will look something like this, just completely empty. All you do is hit File, create a copy, and then name it Annual Review for whatever year. Same thing with the other files, is you just make a copy and then you label it whatever you want. Nobody can see this, only you. Don't worry, the drive is just there to share the documents. Unless you want to share them, then let me know in the comment section. But with that being said, I'll see you guys next week.